Hey guys, it's Brooklyn from The Conscious Cook and we're outside again today, and today I want to show you how to grow, how to care for and get the best harvest that you can from growing blueberries. Now I live in the subtropics, which some of you might know from my previous video if you haven't checked it out. That's a full garden tour of what I've been growing over winter, at the end of winter anyways, and what I'm now starting to plant. Today I want to talk to you about how to grow blueberries in a pot, and it's so much easier than you think, but there are a few key things that you need to be aware of before you start growing your own. And I'm in the subtropics, like I mentioned, so Brisbane based. And yes, you can grow blueberries in the subtropics, but I'm going to get into the ones that you can grow with all that. The tips and tricks are to come. So stay tuned. I'm going to take you over into the garden now, and I'm going to show you how I've grown my first blueberry plant and what you guys need to know to get started. So guys, this is my OG blueberry plant, and as you can see, it's in a very small pot, but it has so many little flower buds on it, so many blueberries to come. I'll show you just how many I have on some of these. Look at that, how crazy. Now this is a plant I'm going to tell you a little bit more about in just a second, but as you can see, it's quite prolific for the size of the pot that it's been in, and I've had this one in the ground for probably more than 4 years. So as you've just seen, this is my blueberry plant and it's in a rather small pot. I think it's only in about 13-14 litre pot, which is not what I would recommend, but I wanted to show you it because it is living proof that a little bit of neglect and over many years it can survive in a pot. And I will be honest, the neglect has been real. I definitely have neglected it, but what I have done now coming into spring is I've actually topped this up with a little bit of phosphorus and potassium, which basically helps with fruit production, and hence all the blueberries I've had on this. I have had harvests before in the past which were great, and I haven't really had any issues with birds taking them. It might be because it's so low to the ground, I'm not too sure, but so far it's very prolific considering the size. So my first tip is what you actually grow your blueberries in. Now, to successfully grow blueberries in a pot, you need to consider the pot size. So I've just shown you guys what I've got in this very small 13.5-14 litre pot. It's not an ideal size. I do need to transplant it. I probably will upgrade that after summer, after the growing season has finished. I'll prune it back and put it into a bigger pot. Can grow them in a really small pot, especially if it's for a short-term solution. Maybe you're in an apartment, you have a small balcony or just a small backyard in general. You know, you're renting, you want to grow them in pots. It can be done. Good size to start with would be a good 28 litres to begin with. So something like this, it will comfortably live in. My next tip for you guys is what you're growing. So you need to consider the variety of the blueberry that you're growing, meaning that you don't want to pick a variety that thrives in a cool, colder environment. You do want a variety that is happy in a subtropical region. So a couple of those, which I have here and I'm going to show you, are the Biloxi, I think it is, Sharp Blue. And to be honest, a lot of your nurseries or Bunnings should sell them that are suited to the area that you're in. So this is one here that I'm going to pot up for you today. This is one of the varieties. I don't know what my old version is, but I'm assuming it's obviously suited to the climate that we have here in Brisbane. So this is the other one. This is the Biloxi. So this is suited to a subtropical climate. This I just picked up from Bunnings and I think it was about $18. So really affordable, especially considering the price of blueberries at the moment. And I already have some flowers too. The next tip I have for you guys is the soil or the potting mix that you're going to grow your blueberry in. When you're choosing to grow it in a pot like so, you need to buy a specialized potting mix, or if you are buying a standard potting mix, then you're going to need to mix in something that makes it more acidic. Blueberries are one of the main berries, or maybe only berries, that really loves a very acidic environment to grow in. So they're not going to thrive if you put them in an alkaline soil or quite a neutral soil like a lot of your other vegetables will. So for that, this is one that I would recommend. This is actually for roses, but this one is perfect for blueberries. They really thrive in it and it has the right balance, I've found. So I would highly recommend picking up a rose, azalea and gardenia potting mix from your local nursery or Bunnings. It's not too expensive and that should be just enough to almost fill up your 28 litre pot. My fourth tip, it's kind of my third tip as well, but it's how you fertilize your blueberries. So again, you're not going to use a totally standard fertilizer here. You're going to use one that again is specifically curated for roses, azaleas, and gardenias. Again, you can find this at most of your nurseries or Bunnings again, and it's what I use on my blueberry plants and my rose bushes here at home. Of course, with that said, I do also add the phosphorus and the potassium, especially when it comes into spring, the flowering season, because I really want to encourage that growth. So I'm just adding the mushroom compost here. And this is a great one that you can buy from a landscape supplier, nice and fresh. The one I'm using though is a little bit drier, but I still really like it. You just want to dig that in a little bit. So what I'm going to add now is a little bit of this specialized fertilizer mix, which is really good for roses, azaleas, gardenias. This is just from my local Bunnings. It really does work. What I'm going to do with this specialized fertilizer is just add a little bit in the base here, mix it in so that I can then plant my blueberry plant on top. Mixing that in a little bit, and I'm going to dig a little bit of a well so that I can plant my blueberry plant right in the middle. Lightly disturb the roots. I want to plant it directly in like this and just backfill a little bit. We'll also put some more compost as well on top, and we will mulch around this too. So the next part is mulching. This is going to help prevent a loss of moisture, especially in our region because it gets really, really hot and humid. And so this is going to help protect our plant, especially because it is younger and we've just planted it. So anything like sugarcane or hay, whatever you have, I would recommend popping that in the pot so that you can get the best harvest possible and keep the plant as healthy as possible as well. Also, I love to keep this in the pot so that I can refer back to what variety I have, especially having 3 now. I just want to know what I've got on hand, so I just leave that in the back here too. So there you have it. That is as easy as it is to grow a blueberry in a pot. As you can see, I have one that's like 4 years old in a much smaller pot and it's producing well for me. So I hope that gives you a little bit of encouragement. I would highly, highly recommend growing a blueberry. It's one of those plants, I guess berries, that do tolerate a subtropical region. Obviously, it's really hard to grow a lot of things like blackberries and raspberries unless, of course, you have like the Atherton raspberry or native raspberry, I think it's called. But a blueberry is really suited to a subtropical region if you get the right variety and give it the right growing conditions. I'm going to leave this one in full sun and consistently water it over the next few weeks, and yeah, I'll have to update you guys. But I hope that was really helpful, and if you guys like this, please give me a thumbs up. Follow along for more cooking or gardening related videos, tips and tricks. I'm going to bring you guys more gardening inspo videos, more education, and just things that I've learned along the way being a little home gardener for the last several years. So there you have it. If you have any questions, please let me know. If I can answer them, I will. But that's it for now. Bye guys, and I'll see you next time for another video.